My girlfriend told me, "You'll fund my dream business, I'll keep all the profit." I smiled and said, "Absolutely." Then I filed for the trademark myself. She found out when investors called me. I, 29M, am a planner. My job in data analytics is all about finding patterns, predicting outcomes, and mitigating risk. My life has been built on that principle. Methodical savings, a clear career path, a 5-year plan. That plan, the centerpiece of it, was my girlfriend of 3 years, Victoria, 27F. Victoria is the opposite of my spreadsheets. She's a whirlwind of brilliant, chaotic energy. Her passions are intense and infectious. Her latest and most consuming was a bespoke gift box company she'd named Aurabox. For months, our apartment became a testament to this dream. Mood boards, fabric swatches, artisanal product samples, the scent of expensive candles. It was a fantastic idea, and I was her #1 champion. I built cost analysis models for her, helped her brainstorm suppliers, and listened for hours as she painted a vivid picture of her future empire. The foundation for this empire was meant to be my savings account. Through years of disciplined work, I had managed to save just over $70,000, money I had mentally earmarked for a down payment on a house for us. About 5 months ago, she sat me down for what she called the talk. She had a professional-looking binder containing her business plan. "Okay, Jeremy," she began, her eyes bright with unstoppable ambition. "It's time. I've broken down the startup costs. We'll need about $50,000 to cover everything. Initial inventory, custom packaging, web development, 6 months of operating expenses." I nodded, genuinely impressed. "This is solid, Victoria, really thorough. So what are you thinking for an equity split? 50-50? Her smile faltered just for a second. "Well, that's the thing. This is my vision, my passion. To make it work, I need to have complete creative and financial control, so it has to be 100% my company." I waited for the rest of the sentence. It never came. The silence in the room felt suddenly vast and cold. "So you want me to give you $50,000, I said, my voice carefully neutral. "And I get what exactly?" "You don't get nothing," she said, her tone shifting to one of gentle condescension, as if explaining a simple concept. "You get to be a part of my success. You're supporting my dream. I'm the one who will be doing the real work, the curating, the networking, the branding. You're just providing the seed capital. And the website stuff, of course. You can handle all the boring back-end things." A strange sensation washed over me. The quiet, sickening lurch you feel when a trusted data set is revealed to be corrupt. I looked at the woman across from me, the woman I loved, and realized I was not her partner. I was a resource. Our shared future was not a joint venture, it was a company she planned to own, built with my assets. "My $50,000, I clarified, keeping my voice steady. "You're asking for it as a gift?" "It's an investment in me," she corrected smoothly. "In us. When I'm a huge success, we'll both benefit. Think of the life we'll have. The life she would own and control. I would have a decimated savings account and a supportive boyfriend role." Every raw, hurt instinct told me to yell, to demand how she could be so selfish, so transactional. But my brain doesn't default to outbursts, it defaults to strategy. A fight would be emotional, messy, and ultimately pointless. The core problem wasn't a disagreement, it was a fundamental revelation of her character. So I did the only thing I could do. I smiled. I made it look calm and loving. "You know what? You're right, it's your dream. You should have full control, absolutely." The relief that washed over her face was a physical thing. She kissed me, calling me the best boyfriend in the world. I felt the kiss, but I might as well have been watching it from across the room. The next morning, I was up before she was. I didn't feel rage, just a profound, hollowed-out sense of purpose. For hours I sat at my computer, not sleeping, just processing the grief of a future that had died overnight. It hurt. It was a deep, physical ache, but grief can be a powerful motivator. By sunrise, I had done 2 things. I went to the state's business portal and filed the paperwork to create a new limited liability company, registered to my name and my address. I went to the official government trademark website and, through my new LLC, filed a formal application for the name Aurabox. I knew it wasn't instant. The application was just that, an application. It would sit in a queue for months before an examiner even looked at it. But it was filed, it was time-stamped. My claim had a priority date. Then I bought the domains, aurabox.com, aurabox.net, every variation I could find. Victoria spent the week floating on air. She enrolled in a digital branding for entrepreneurs course, on my credit card of course. I told her it was a brilliant investment in her vision. For the past 5 months, I've lived a double life. I've been supportive boyfriend Jeremy, listening to her plans, offering technical advice, and watching her burn through small sums of my money on business expenses. But inside, I've been strategic Jeremy, the man running a long-term experiment. I'm just waiting for the day she tries to build her house on the land I now quietly hold the deed to. It's a lonely, gut-wrenching way to live, but I see no other way to reclaim what she tried to take from me. Not just the money, but my dignity. Update 1. Thank you for the comments on my original post. Reading them has been a lifeline, a sanity check in what has become a very strange, isolated existence. It's been 3 months since that initial filing, and the situation has deteriorated in ways I both expected and didn't. Victoria's entitlement has blossomed. She finished her branding course and now considers herself a marketing guru on par with industry titans. Her new best friend is Kyle, a startup mentor from her course who wears expensive sneakers with suits and uses the word synergy in every other sentence. He has become the angel on her shoulder, whispering poison. 2 weeks ago, she presented me with a founder's agreement that Kyle had helped her draft. It was a masterpiece of audacity. It outlined her role as founder CEO and designated me as the initial funding partner. It specified that my $50,000 contribution was a non-refundable, non-equity gift. And, the part that made me laugh out loud, it contained a clause requiring me to provide ongoing, pro bono technical support for all digital assets of Aurabox. She handed it to me with a pen, as if it were a restaurant bill. Kyle says it's crucial to professionalize our arrangement, she said, not a hint of irony in her voice. Our arrangement, I repeated, taking the papers. I'll read it over. I scanned it and saved it to the same secure cloud drive where I kept the LLC and trademark application receipts. It was becoming a powerful dossier of delusion. The entitlement has started to bleed into our daily life in uglier ways. My freelance data work, which provides a significant part of my income, has become an annoying distraction to her. A month ago, she accidentally reformatted an external hard drive where I kept my project archives. I was trying to clear space for my brand visuals and your old junk was taking up room, she'd exclaimed. My actual work is cloud synced, so I lost nothing critical, but the message was clear. My work was junk, and hers was paramount. The ugliest moment came last Friday. My grandfather passed away 2 years ago and left me his vintage watch. It's a beautiful, understated timepiece, not worth a fortune, but it's my most meaningful possession. I was getting ready for a formal event and found her holding it. I was just thinking, she said, letting it swing from her fingers. Kyle knows a collector. I bet we could get enough for this to cover a real PR launch. It's for the good of the company, Jeremy. You have to think bigger. A rage so cold it felt like ice water in my veins washed over me. I walked over, gently but firmly took the watch from her hand and placed it back in its box. No, was all I said. Don't be so sentimental, she scoffed, genuinely annoyed. This is what founders do. They sacrifice. You're not sacrificing my grandfather's watch, Victoria. The discussion is over. The look she gave me wasn't one of understanding or remorse. It was one of pure irritation, as if I were a stubborn employee refusing to authorize a necessary expense. Now the endgame is approaching. Kyle, leveraging his network, has secured her a pitch meeting with a small angel investor group called Halcyon. They're known for seeding promising local startups. Victoria is convinced this is her moment. The meeting is in 2 months. The new timeline is making her antsy. Why is the LLC stuff taking so long, she'll ask. Are you sure you filed the trademark correctly? I blame government bureaucracy, telling her these things take time, which is true. She buys it because she sees all that as boring paperwork that is beneath her. Her job is the vision. My job is the execution. She's now demanding I build out the full website on a private server so it's ready to go live the second the paperwork clears. She wants a fully functional, polished brand to show the investors. She has no idea that the brand is and has always been legally mine. The waiting is the hardest part. Mourning a relationship while your partner is still sleeping next to you is a special kind of hell. But the finish line is in sight. Final update. It's over. The day of the Halcyon investor meeting arrived. Our apartment was a storm of Victoria's nervous energy, practicing her pitch, redoing her makeup, barking questions at me. Is the staging site ready? Did you link to the high-res brand assets? I was the calm eye of her hurricane, sipping coffee and giving non-committal answers. Why can't I access aurabox.com? She asked, her voice tight with panic. It still shows a generic coming soon page. DNS can take hours to propagate, I said calmly, knowing full well I controlled the domain and it pointed exactly where I wanted it to. Her phone rang. It was Kyle, likely from a coffee shop near the investor's office. They're ready for the pre-read deck, Victoria. Now, she hissed, muting the call. Just emailed you the link, I said. A few minutes later, as she was telling Kyle how robust and scalable my platform was, my own phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered and put it on speaker. May I speak with Jeremy? A man's voice asked. Speaking. Mr. Scott, my name is Walter Hayes, a partner at Halcyon Investment Group. We're reviewing a proposal from a Ms. Victoria Moss for a company called Aurabox. My analyst has just done a preliminary due diligence check. We see a pending trademark application for Aurabox, filed about 5 months ago by an LLC, which public records show is registered to you. The proposal lists Miss Moss as the sole founder. Could you clarify this discrepancy for us? We obviously can't proceed until the IP ownership is clear. The world stopped. Victoria froze, her back to me. Her hand holding her phone was perfectly still. I could see the tension in her shoulders. She wasn't screaming. She was processing. And I could pinpoint the exact nanosecond that the last 5 months of her reality shattered into a million pieces. I kept my voice level and professional. That's correct, Mr. Hayes. Aurabox is my pending trademark, and the LLC is mine. I am the sole owner of the intellectual property. Miss Moss was a creative consultant. I see, Mr. Hayes said, a world of meaning in those 2 words. Well, that certainly clarifies things. Thank you for your time. He hung up. Victoria slowly, deliberately ended her call with Kyle. She turned around, and her face was a blank mask of disbelief. What was that? She whispered. That was Walter Hayes, I said. An investor. He had some questions about my company. Your company. The words came out in a strangled shriek. Aurabox is my company. My idea. My dream. Your idea was brilliant, I conceded, standing up. But your business plan was predatory. I walked to my desk and picked up the founder's agreement she tried to make me sign. I held it up. Your plan was for me to provide $50,000, work for free, and sign a document legally confirming I was entitled to nothing. My plan was to protect my assets and my dignity. I filed for that trademark the day after our little talk. This has been in motion for 5 months, Victoria. The fury finally broke through the shock. You lied to me. For months. You watched me work. You watched me build this. You're a sociopath. You were building a fantasy on a foundation you never bothered to check, I said, my voice cold and hard. You were so focused on the vision, you assumed the boring details would just take care of themselves. They did. I took care of them. Her parents had given her $10,000 for the business, which she tearfully confessed amidst the screaming. I told her she should give it back to them. The fight was ugly and devolved into her packing a bag, throwing insults and a lamp. It missed. You will regret this, she screamed from the doorway. No, I said, the hollowness in my chest finally replaced by a sense of quiet finality. I regret the last 3 years. This is just the epilogue. She left? The silence was overwhelming. The aftermath was messy. Her father called and threatened me. Her mother called, crying but also confused. She told us you were a 50-50 partner, Jeremy, she said. She told us the $10,000 was her half of the initial IP filing costs. I just told her I was sorry for how it all turned out, and that Victoria's business plan was something she needed to discuss with her daughter directly. A week later, I got a call from Walter Hayes. He said, I just want to say, I've seen a lot of partnership disasters, but I've never seen one so methodically contained. I have no interest in the gift box market, but I am interested in people who can see risk 3 moves ahead. He didn't offer to buy Aurabox. He offered me a small $7x500 for the LLC and all its assets, the pending trademark domains, which he said he passed to another team for pennies on the dollar. It was a realistic number. The real offer was the one that followed. "The analyst who did that diligence check for me," he said. "He works for a data security startup we're funding. They are looking for a strategy lead. Someone who thinks like you. Would you be interested in a conversation?" I sold him the LLC. I took the interview. I got the job. It was a massive step up, in a field I love, with a team that respects me. I used the $7,500 and a chunk of my now safe savings to put a down payment on my own condo. 2 weeks ago, I was in a supermarket and I saw Victoria. She was in a staff uniform, restocking yogurt. We made eye contact for a brief second. There was no anger in her eyes, just a flat, weary emptiness. She turned away, and that was it. She's not ruined. She's just living a normal life. The grand dream she was unwilling to build fairly now just a ghost in the dairy aisle. My revenge wasn't loud or explosive. I didn't destroy her. I simply stepped aside and let her run full speed into the wall she had built herself. I got a better job, a new home, and my self-respect back. And I learned that sometimes the best risk mitigation strategy is simply believing people when they show you who they are the first time.